Hey everybody, it's Pete. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Friday. After a long, exhausting of back and forth this week, we've gotten to the finish line. Let's finish today with a really good, strong, professional day of trading. We're going to start out talking about Penn National Gaming and where it is right now. Should you be looking to buy the stock now? Is it a little bit too late? Is it the perfect time? We're going to take a look at that. We have some longs today. We have some shorts today. And for those of you that are new to short selling, basically it means you make money if you time your entries correctly as stocks are moving lower. And actually, we got some popular stocks that are breaking down right now. A couple of other stocks that are kind of stuck in a box where there's no clear bias. I do want to say this first, though. We're going to talk a little bit about short selling opportunities right now, but the market's still in a long-term bullish order flow. The market is just coming off all-time highs. We are essentially right now in a potential change of trend, and that's not a change of trend yet. I purposely use that word PCOT, potential change of trend, because short selling the first time something breaks down versus shorting when it's in a confirmed change of trend, dramatically different trade. So we're going to look at some of those, and Amazon actually fits that criteria where it broke down, and now what do you do? Generally speaking, the first breakdown in a bullish longer-term order flow fails. So in other words, Amazon's breaking down now. PayPal's breaking down right now. Apple's kind of like just hanging on the edge there. Generally speaking, if it's a bullish order flow, the first breakdown, you're like, oh, I got to get the, I got to be first. And you short that. Usually it gets shoved right back in your face because the market says, not yet. So we're gonna over the weeks we're gonna pay attention to whether or not it breaks down, stays there, and a short sale opportunity comes to fruition, or it just kind of just barely peaks down below, takes out the level. But we're going to show you what I mean, what it needs to look like when we look at eBay. William in our community called out a great trade this week in eBay, and it was a short sale opportunity. And Jason Miller yesterday called out 3M, a stock that I haven't watched in a while. And we initiated a swing trade in Caterpillar. So we're going to take a look at all those. We're going to start out with Penn National Gaming. And by the way, please do me a favor, click down and subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me if you find some value. If you make some profitable trades or learn something, definitely click down and leave me a comment below the video. It would be kind of cool to hear from you. I'd really appreciate it. So let's go over to the charts. We're actually going to start out. I mentioned Apple very briefly this morning. And you can see that it's kind of stuck in a box right now. And you can see what I talked about here. This is exactly what happens when you get involved early, meaning the first time a potential change of trend hits the fan. It usually doesn't follow through when it's in the context of a longer-term bullish order flow. So a lot of stocks are going to break down now. And you can see Apple was like, nope, not yet. You guys who are looking to short sell early, I'm going to stick it to you right now. But eBay, a little bit of a different story, where eBay perfectly broke down, held resistance again, and then offered the short sale. So very different opportunity, which you can kind of see eBay like almost did the same exact thing here, where it broke down, kind of like just barely peeked its head through, went back up, not yet, broke down. Now you can take this first trade to the downside, but you really want what I call feedback. You want to get feedback from the market, and that was this trade here. That was a good $7 short sale there. But getting into Penn is the one that I want to discuss in the most detail. Look, I've been talking about this stock since this move exploded, and you can see the line that I drew there is actually still there. And if you want to watch how I draw these lines, watch the video that I did this morning on how I found the trade of 2020. Very simple, right? But this is really the big thing that you miss when you're only using moving averages. You miss a feel for the chart. You miss the highs. You miss the lows. You miss what is the right price. How would I know if it gets through that price? Something matters, and that's really where it happens. So we've been actively trading this stock for months now, and I've been saying this stock, which is a relatively inexpensive stock, and especially when it was down here in the 30s, was having 10% moves intraday. That's a monster move for a stock for one day, and you can see again yesterday 7%. So this stock is very tradable. It meets a lot of the criteria. It's got volume, volatility. It's got the market's attention. It's a get out of the house stock now with a lot of the professional sports back on the table right now to whatever degree they're on the table. But the question now is now the right time to get involved? And I'm going to say not right now, unless you are trading with us and you got involved down in this area here, because now we're basically looking at a $17 rally, $18 rally. But if you look at the weekly charts, it's actually now gone parabolic. And that's generally speaking a tough time to get involved in a new position. So there's a difference between I want to be long versus I want to be long now. I want to be a buyer versus I want to be a buyer now. So if you're already long with us, we're continuing to trail the trade higher. And it looks like it's going to open up slightly higher this morning. But what I'm looking for the next trade, and it wouldn't shock me if the next move is $100, is I'm looking for a little bit of this. I'm looking for a 3 to 5 day pause where attention leaves the stock. Everybody forgets about it. Not us. Everybody forgets about it. And that's the time for us to start working the next swing trade. So I'm very excited to be looking at the next trade in this. And I'm super excited for everybody who's in the community who has been in this swing trade with us for just over a week now, maybe even like a week and a half right in this area here. So keep that on mind. And Draftkings, kind of the same story here where we couldn't get out at 38.50, finally got above 38.50, trading well. Now look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. 1, 2, 3, 6 out of the last 7 days have closed above the opening price. So the problem now with getting long Draftkings is that it's now gone $20. If you really take the move from here to here, it's 35 to 54, so maybe $19. So what do you do with this stock now? Is it a new long at this point? It is sniffing all-time highs. It's kissing all-time highs. It's absolutely not a short sale, so get that out of your head. But is it a buy now? Well, this is a little different than the stock that we just looked at because it paused and then had another move higher. So here's where swing traders get in trouble. They'll say, this is great. I want to get involved in this stock above yesterday's high or whatever the price action is that meets your criteria. Some people do the same thing on 60-minute charts where you're using a push and a pause, a push and a pause and a push and a pause, right? So now you're getting involved right around 54, right? Depending on how you do it. The problem now is how do you manage your risk? You just had what was essentially an $8, $48 to 54 and change, so $6 trading range yesterday. How do you manage your risk here in this position? Well, it can be tough because you're not willing to risk $6 where maybe $6 to $10 is all you're going to make on the trade if everything works out perfectly and moves in your favor. So what you end up doing here is you end up working in order if you still like the stock as a buy, but you don't do it with your full share size on your initial entry. In this particular case here, if you think the stock has more room to go, which again, it just moved $20, $19, it's kind of tough to expect that to move that far, that fast again to justify the risk. So if you have to risk 3, you're looking at you want to make at least 9. Do you think that the stock on the swing trade is going to now move another $9 and have a $30 move? Maybe, but what are the odds of that happening? But if you want to get involved in this good idea a little bit late, you need to work the position, lower share size, and only add as it moves in your favor. So a little trade management conversation there as well. Workhorse is one. It's kind of funny. We've been trading it since this breakout. 18 was the level. Actually got stopped out and then re-entered again, and that's a big trading lesson there as well because the idea was still valid. Which, by the way, it's for newer traders, it's very common, like, oh gosh, I'm the only one on the planet who got stopped out. No, that's real trading. You want to act like a pro. You want to be somebody who makes money. You want to make the market make. If you get stopped out, you still like the idea, get back in. We're basically trading in zero commission world now with stock trading. There's no reason not to get back in. Matter of fact, let me reverse that. There's every reason in the world to get back in if you still like the idea. And now we're slowly watching the stock grind higher, and you can see it's actually higher again today. Look, it might be a little late for this one as well. Maybe not. It actually had a nice pause here and then another inside candlestick here and another inside candlestick here that closed on the highs. If you're going to trade this stock, it's a slow mover. There's not a lot of history to the left of bullish price action for this stock recently. You're talking going back years to find where is the last relevant price action where you can say, how far do I expect the stock to go? And we can't use this because it was a dollar stock over here. It's $2, went from 2 to 20. We're not expecting the stock to go $18 again, but it is clearly moving higher. So this is where you start to extrapolate the average true range over 5 days or 10 days, and you start to get a window. But what's kind of funny is we're so used to trading these stocks that move, bam, bam, they're moving in my favor super quick. And this one just keeps climbing higher. And people in the room are like, oh gosh, the stock is killing me. It's killing you. It's moving in your favor. So what? Slow money is still money, right? So we're still working this trade higher. I think if you're not long this yet, probably looking for something like this again, where maybe it pauses for a couple of days, gives us one of those consolidation type candles, and then gives us another room to the upside. If you still want to be involved in this and it's a little bit longer term trade, use the same kind of scenario that we just talked about in Draftkings. Getting to some ideas that are tradable now. LYB, you can see clearly looking as a breakout here. Again, above, what's the level? Above 80, we're looking for a swing trade here. Caterpillar, I mentioned before. We actually initiated a new swing trade in Caterpillar yesterday, looking for it to punch through. 60 would be the first target, and then a much better trade through 60. 3M is the one that, 3M, not 2M. The one that Jason called out yesterday. You can see this one has some room to go to 184 as well. Micron, I want to point out, is not a trade yet. It needs to get above this level. So it basically needs to get above 51, well bid, stay there. And then we're looking at 60 as the next level. And Zoom, my gosh, I'm on Zoom right now. Zoom came roaring back, which is pretty interesting. Pulled back, didn't quite get back down to the pre-earnings levels, but super strong close yesterday. Looks like it's going to open up and test 420 again, with the first target being 460. The opposite side of the market, and this is talking about what we said about the first time something breaks down, Goldman Sachs met all the criteria yesterday for a sell short, and believe it or not, so did Facebook. Facebook was well offered in multiple time frames, and I'll give you an idea what the intraday chart looks like. This is what we were looking at in Facebook yesterday. It was very tradable on the short side yesterday. If you were aggressive, there was opportunity here, and not on the intraday time frame only. It's in the longer time frame. It's actually rolling over and gave us an opportunity. But as we mentioned just at the start of the video, these first time breakdowns in a longer term bullish market tend to catch early shorts and get shoved back in their face. So we are looking for a little bit of a bounce today. So I'm really pointing out potential opportunities in the first stocks that rolled over. We already talked about eBay as a short sale. Probably not a short sale today because it got down to the support and hung. So we're really looking for it to consolidate around 50 before the next push lower. Amazon, believe it or not, again, meets that criteria of a stock that has now broken down out of this box. But you can see this has been a much longer window where this kind of is the right price for Amazon, like right in this window. It's kind of still stuck there. So for me, below 3,000 would be the short sale where it starts to look for Amazon. And PayPal kind of meets that same criteria as well. You can get a very clear mental picture now where you can see they actually penetrated what is a box, and a very similar box that the SPY app and Apple are trading in right now as well. So don't be the first pioneer to be short selling it, but definitely mental note on relative weakness of stocks that are breaking down. Tesla, for all you Tesla cheerleaders, filled the gap, closed strong, and looks like it's going to open higher again today. Look, this stock is not the same stock it was pre-split. I am imploring you to be disciplined, work these orders. But again, separate whether or not Tesla is an investment for you or if it is a trade for you. There's a big difference between I think it's going up over the next 3 weeks versus I want to hold this stock forever. How you manage it is a big difference. How you add or remove shares is a big difference. If it's an investment, for gosh sakes, please stop watching 5-minute charts. Please stop cheerleading if it goes up for an hour. If it's an investment, you want to look at it at the end of next month. Really, if you like it lifetime, if you think the stock's going to wherever you think it's going, don't be watching every tick. That's not what investing is. So I've got a good list for today. We got some trades that are probably profit-taking scenarios today, some new trades that have to hit new levels, and some trades that broke down as potential trades for next week if the market continues to roll over. And look, quite honestly, if the market rolls over today, we just gave you a list of stocks that already have relative weakness while the market was strong. So let's pay attention to those stocks and see if we get some opportunities. Have a great day, everybody.